Some of you, whenever I have a video about Messiah, the topic of Mashiach, some of you insist upon talking about your Christian themes. Christianity is a great religion. The purpose of Christianity is to teach the world about the Bible, the Torah, and the commandments of God and the purpose of the world, and the end of days will come through a Messiah. But no, Jesus was not the Messiah, and the ideology of Christianity is bankrupt. There is no such thing as a man who is God. There is no such thing as something other than God, nor can the son of a woman inherit the grandfather, the father of that woman. The heir of a man has to be the man's child. The heir of King David has to be King David's man-child from a father. Inheritance of the tribe comes only through the father, not through the mother. And so the role of the Messiah can only be from a son of King David, not from a son from a daughter. And so there's no question. Jesus never had any connection to the position of Messiah. And all the genealogies that are, the two genealogies that are found in the Gospels, not only do they contradict each other, they contradict the genealogies found in the Book of Kings, and a lot of the names are made up, and all kinds of errors there, as there are hundreds of errors in the Gospels that contradict each other over and over and over again. Because of that, Christians have decided to try to prove their religion using tangible kinds of things. Well, they're all powerful, the most powerful countries are Christian, etc., etc. And of course, the belief in the Shroud of Turin. And this is what some person says, you know why you should believe in Christianity? Because the Shroud of Turin doesn't prove anything. Even if it was the shroud of someone, you don't know who that someone is. There's absolutely no evidence. And even if it was a human being, doesn't mean that the human being had been resurrected at that point. There's no evidence of resurrection. But there's some otherworldly kind of things, and you don't know what happened there. And that if God had some kind of revelation intended, God would have done that revelation in front of all of the people, as God did with the revelation on Sinai. God revealed that to the entire people. This was something nobody saw. Nobody saw the empty grave. The grave could have been taken out by some crazy people. You know, people want people to believe in certain things. They also have benefits from it. If you are the disciple of a great person, the more you make that person great and that you have insight and information with it, the more you can sell yourself. So if you have a shroud, if you have a relic that becomes a shrine where you collect money, you collect power, and so on and so forth. All of this during the Middle Ages, hundreds of nails were found, that were the nails of the cross, etc., etc. This is just an absurd kind of argument. But I just want to put my 2 cents in, if I may. It's obvious that the shroud was not a shroud that he was buried in, very simply because all shrouds are called talesim, talitot. And talitot were wrapped around the person. They were not placed front and back. Secondly, the sudar, which was wrapped around the head, would be wrapped around the entire face, so the face shouldn't be visible. The talit would have been wrapped very well around the feet of the dead person, all the way up the person, and then tied with a belt. Now, this is absent. If there would have been some kind of resurrection, miraculous resurrection, it would have been a twisted image, because the talus would be twisted around the person. all of this, besides that, doesn't make sense. The image has faded over the years, and damage has been done to the garment, etc., etc. If this was truly from God, there would be no damage, there would be no breakdown of the image, or breakdown of the pigment, or breakdown of the garment. Something sanctified by God himself is eternal. This is only not only speculation, but it's garbage. Furthermore, anybody looking at it knows that the front is longer than the back is longer than the front. That's patently impossible. And the two images are next to each other. If this was a three-dimensional image, there would be the top of the head separating the two images of front and back. You don't have that. And so it's just altogether nonsensical and doesn't prove anything anyway. And then furthermore, those people who did the radiocarbon study, these are scientists, responsible scientists, not just archi-parchi, just empty people. And the reason why people make questions, because it's just like with OJ's blood, or in the if you have a good enough defense attorney, and you've got a policeman doesn't know what he's doing, or can't answer anything. Remember Miss Mazzola with the Jewish attorney attacking her in the middle of the OJ trial? She lost herself, because when you're being drilled by someone who's an expert at cross-examination, you just fall apart. Anyone can ask questions after the fact. The scientists who did the carbon-14 study are insistent, after all of the arguments, that they made the proper precautions. This was the same strip that was the rest of the twill, the weave, and all of those things that are, the arguments that are given. Those arguments are, for the most part, trumped up. They're made by people who want to believe and want to make other people believe. And that doesn't make for good science or for good arguments. If indeed the carbon-14 is faulty, it's been now 24 years since the carbon-14 dating was done, the Vatican would have had another carbon-14 strip done independently. The reason why they don't do it is very simply they know the truth. They know it's above a mice. And even though there are a couple of popes that are deranged and believe in it, they also believe in other nonsense. Today we can call it nonsense. It used to be very dangerous to be able to call those things nonsense. But the Trinity and the belief in the man God, the belief that Jesus was an immaculate conception, and that somehow or other that this transfers him into a Messiah and the Son of God, etc., etc. All of this is nonsense. It has no basis neither in Jewish ideology or has no basis in just clear-headed thinking. A man is a man to whom God communicates. And in order to be the Messiah, you have to be a son of a son of a son of a son of King David, and no one else. And when that person comes, that will be the person who will bring peace and harmony to this world. And if I were God and I wanted to make a statement, I would have made the statement with a permanent three-dimensional figure, an image, with a signature, not just with a play. This is all foolishness. So, you want to believe in it, go right ahead. But for the most of us out there, we see things clearly, and we see God is the source of everything. There is only one God.